So welcome freshmen. This is going to be your first video tutorial, and what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for either an icon down here in the bottom, or we can go into here and scroll through and find Solidworks. We're going to turn that on. So here's a 2017 folder or whatever the current version is, and then click on the current version. You're going to get a boot up screen like you see here. Let it load up. And here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here in the top, File, New, and a screen's going to pop up that says Assembly, or a bunch of different things. We're going to want Assembly. We're going to hit OK. And here's the first screen of a SolidWorks part, or in this case an assembly. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to go up here and say View, and you can say Hide or Show. And you go down here and you click on, and you're going to turn on Origin. So you can see this little like L showed up in the middle of your screen. And we're going to start building this TIE Fighter assembly. So over on this screen, we're going to go browse, and we're going to try to look for this thing. And we're going to go on your desktop. Now in your desktop, there should be a folder called Phase 2. And click on the group that you're in. So I'm going to start with group number 1, because these are the parts you're going to be using. And what we're going to want to start with is the TIE Fighter body. So we're going to grab that and open it. And as we bring it in, you're going to see it also has its own little origin, and then there's this little yellow icon next to it, indicating that you're in an isometric view. And as I get closer to the origin and the assembly, you're going to see a change. And if I click, they both center themselves about that origin. And you can see over here on the screen it has a little F in front of it. It means that this part is fixed in position. And then using my middle mouse button, I can scroll in and out. If I hold my middle mouse button, I can rotate. And then if I go up here into the Views command, I can go in and click ISO and it'll fill it back up again. First thing we're going to learn is File. We're going to Save As. We're still going to make sure that you're in the group that you're supposed to be. So in this case, it's Group 1. Depends which group you are. And we're going to call it, in capitals, TIE Fighter, ASSY, which is an abbreviation for assembly. And then at the end of it, you're going to type in your last name. So whatever your last name is, that's how it should end. And save. So if you look up here in the top of the screen now, it says TIE Fighter Assembly, your last name. Next thing we want to do is we're going to insert another component. So we're going to have insert component, existing part. Alright, it opens up where we were, and we're going to grab a solar panel. We're going to open it. We're going to use the middle mouse button for a second to zoom out, and we're just going to place it. Over here on the left, this is called your design tree, and you can see there's a minus sign, which means it's not defined. So if I go into the Assembly tab, you see Move Component. If I hit Rotate Component, I can grab it. Let's try this again. Rotate, right? So we clicked on it, and then we can rotate. So we sort of get it in the roughly the position we want. This is close enough. Escape out of that, and then we're going to grab this surface, and we're going to hit Mate, and we're going to grab another surface. So we're going to rotate using the middle mouse button, and we're going to grab this surface. You see how it gets close to it. Alright, the next thing we want to do is we want to get this edge, because it's about a center line, mated in the proper spot. So we're going to grab its bottom edge, or let's see. If we click here, you can see how it expands within the assembly. And if I hover over things, you can see a front view, top view, right plane. These are associated to the original part, not the assembly you're in. So what we want to do is grab our front plane, and we want to go into up here where we have front plane. No, it's not going to mate correctly there. Top plane, that's what we want, where you can see how the right plane shows up. We're going to click top, and now it's centered. And the happy check mark. And if I change my view quickly, actually I can hover here and click. You can see how it's centered. What if I go back to my ISO? You can see it's still not centered the other way. So we're going to grab another plane within it, and it's not the front, it's not the top, it's the right, and we're going to mate it to the front view of this original part. So we see here, when we click, it's there, happy check mark, and it's in position. Okay. So again, I can zoom out a little, middle mouse button, hold it down, you can see how it's in position. And if I go over here in my design tree, you can see there's no minus sign anymore. It means that it's properly constrained within the assembly. Now, the power of SolidWorks doesn't mean you have to bring in 3 more of these. I can actually do a mirror component, which is under linear component pattern. So I can hit mirror components, right? It's going to ask me to mirror plane. So again, that's going to be the top plane within the assembly, the components we want to do, right? So we're going to grab the solar panel, okay? And then we're going to hit this little arrow up here. It says next. And it says, do you want to create an opposite hand version? So I'm going to click that. And I can zoom in and I can rotate and say, yeah, you know what, that looks pretty good. And once you get better with the software, you're going to see things easier. We'll try a happy check mark, and we'll hit yes. Okay, and there it is. Now, instead of having to import 2 more of these, we can do mirror again. Click on mirror. Now we're going to do about the right plane. Okay. And it already has the solar panel, the original, and the mirror that we just did. Okay, and we're going to want to create, we're going to rotate, do we want to create opposite hand versions? We're going to say yes. Let's see how that looks. There we go. Very nice. And then if I look down here, even in front of these, there's no minus signs or anything, so everything's proper. Let's go up here to the top and hit save again. You always want to save your work often. You never know when a software or a computer is going to just crash on you. Now we have to insert component, another one. Okay, and now we're going to do the front of the TIE Fighter. Okay, so that's this little disc here. Just place it, click, and it's there. Now, using the middle mouse button to rotate again, I can grab this surface and say mate. I can zoom out, middle mouse button, and select this surface. Okay, so now it's in the proper face-to-face. And I can also do edges. So I'm going to grab its edge and this edge, and you can see they've moved. But you're also going to notice here, I'm going to happy check mark a second time out of there. You can see down here in the design tree, there's a minus sign, which means I can grab this and rotate it, which is not happy. But I can click within it and say, okay, what plane do I want to grab? So we could do front, we could do top, that's not going to work. But right plane, so we'll click right, and we will mate it with the right plane of the major assembly. And you see it rotate, happy check mark again. If I hit these arrows, you can see things close up, and you can see in front of the TIE Fighter front, there's no minus sign, everything is where it needs to be. Save again quickly. And then I'm going to rotate this around because the back's not done. Insert, component, existing part, browse again. All right, now we're going to do the rear of the TIE Fighter. Again, just drop it somewhere. Rotate so we can see it's underneath. Click mate up on the top, and then this surface. Okay, so far so good. Then we can use the edge again, so we're going to go here to here. Happy. Okay. And then lastly, just like the other one, we're going to want to find probably its right plane and this right plane. Happy check mark. Close this out. Let's go to our views again, ISO it. And again, in here you can see there's no minus sign between TIE Fighter or in front of TIE Fighter rear. And that's everything. Save it. Okay? So something like this is going to come up. You're going to set save all. Okay? Everything's in here. Then you're going to go up here and you go File. You're going to go Print. And it's usually set up to the default printer. So if it is, you're going to hit OK. You're going to get your print. And then when you get it, down here in the right part of your drawing, you're going to write your name, and then you're going to show it to me that you finished this simple assembly tutorial. And that's it.